Okay, to do active, passive, and resistive range of motion for the shoulder, we are going to start with active range of motion. So we're going to start with shoulder flexion, then shoulder extension, then we're going to do abduction, and then adduction, and then for internal and external rotation is bringing it across your body, external rotation is opening up like that, okay? Now that was active range of motion. For passive range of motion, again, the athletic trainer does it themselves. So Jimmy's not going to help me, so just relax. I would do flexion, extension, relax, don't help me out. Jello, abduction, adduction, external rotation, internal rotation. Okay, that was for passive range of motion. Now, for resistive range of motion, okay, now again, we can do this either sitting or standing, but for this, we are going to do it sitting. So what we're going to do is, Jimmy's going to have his arm out like this. My proximal hand for flexion is going to be on the AC joint and the glenohumeral joint, okay? For resisting flexion, my distal hand is going to be right on the elbow joint, and I'm going to say, don't let me push. Good. For extension, he's going to bend his elbow. Now what you'll do is you're going to want to try and push that way, but you're not. Again, my proximal hand is on the AC joint and the glenohumeral. My distal hand is on the posterior side of the elbow, so go ahead and push my hand. Okay, that was resisting extension. Now for abduction, okay, he puts his arm out like this. My proximal hand, again, is on the AC joint and the glenohumeral joint. My distal hand is on the lateral side of his elbow. Don't let me push. Good. Now, for adduction, my proximal hand stays, but my distal hand now goes on the medial side of his elbow. Don't let me push. Good. Now, for internal and external rotation, okay, he's going to have his arm, his elbow flexed at 90, okay. My proximal hand, which stabilizes, just going to be right at his elbow joint. My distal hand that gives resistance. For internal rotation, I'm going to have my hand on the anterior side, distal end of his forearm, or just the anterior side of the wrist. So go ahead and push. Okay? Now for external rotation, my proximal hand stays, but my distal hand now moves to the posterior side of the wrist. So go ahead and push. Good. That was active, passive, and resistive range of motion for the shoulder.